If you are under pressure right now as a child of God, it might not be the devil attacking you, but God preparing you. Because in God's system, pressure always comes before lifting. So if you stick and watch this video to the end, then I am going to reveal to you 3 reasons why God always allows pressure before it lifts anybody. And without much ado, let's get into this video. Now, the 3 reasons why God always allows pressure before it lifts anybody are: number 1, to make you depend on Him, and number 2, to keep you humble, and number 3, to remind you that life is temporary. Now, without any waste of time, let me explain these points one after another. Now, for point number 1, to make you depend on God. Before God lifts you, He must ensure that He removes everything you are leaning on except Himself, especially if you are putting your trust in your own self or your own understanding, or you are putting your trust in a fellow human being. Now let's quickly go to Proverbs chapter 3 and read from verse 5 to 7 to see what the scripture says in this regard. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge Him, and He shall direct thy paths. Be not wise in thine own eyes. Fear the Lord, and depart from evil. Now, this is one of the problems that we have as the children of God. We think that we have that positive mindset. We think we are so wise, we know so much, and for that reason we can sit down by our own selves and plan or strategize about our lives or whatever goals we are trying to pursue. Most of us forget to take whatever we are going to do or whatever we want to do into God's hands by way of prayers and fastings. We think that our education has given us all the knowledge that we need or all the skills that we need about whatever goal we are trying to pursue in life. And for that reason, we always shut God out of most of our plans. Now, I want you to understand that as a child of God, when once you are leaning too much on your own understanding or what you know, your skills, your expertise, or even your natural ability to reason, to come up with good ideas, good plans, once you do that and God does not reflect in any way, I want you to understand that you are leaning on your own understanding. So as we see in that scripture, God calls upon us to put all our trust in Him. Why? Because He is the one who created us. He understands everything about life, both the things we can see with our naked eyes and the things we cannot see. He knows how everything is going on in life, be it physical or spiritual. And we are just mere physical human beings. Because at the end of the day, when we use our own idea or wisdom or knowledge or skills, expertise, whatever you can call it, to plan and we fail, it is going to put us under a whole lot of pressure. And this is not what God desires for us. That is why He calls upon us in that passage to put all our trust in Him. Now let's also read 1 Corinthians chapter 1 verse 8 to 9 to see what Paul the Apostle also said concerning putting our trust in our own selves. For we would not, brethren, have you ignorant of our trouble which came to us in Asia, that we were pressed out of measure above strength, in so much that we despaired even of life. But we had the sentence of death in ourselves, that we should not trust in ourselves, but in God which raised the dead. Now, aside from putting our trust in our own selves, most of us also make the mistake of putting our trust in our fellow human beings. We think that our friend, our brother, our uncle, who is prominent, who is rich, will help us, especially if he had promised to do so. And for that reason, we invest all our trust in that person. We look up to that person, we hope on that person, and in so doing, we forget God completely. We shut God out of our lives, forgetting that He is the only one that can push anyone in this life to help us. And once we do this, we shift our focus from God to a fellow human being. Now let's quickly go to Jeremiah chapter 17 and read verse 5 to see what the scripture says to this regard. Thus said the Lord, cursed be the man that trusted in man, and maketh flesh his arm, and whose heart departed from the Lord. Now when you look on that scripture, you will understand that once you put your trust too much in a fellow human being, your heart is going to turn away from God. You will forget that it is only God that can move that human being to help you, as I said earlier. Another reason it is dangerous for us to put our trust in fellow human beings is that they might disappoint us or leave us in death at a time we need them the most. Let's quickly go to Isaiah chapter 2 and read verse 22 to see what the scripture says concerning this. Cease ye from man, whose breath is in his nostrils, for wherein is he to be accounted of? Man has breath in his nostrils, and that breath can be taken away at any given point in time. So if you are investing all your trust in that fellow human being, it can leave you in death. Or another thing we know that human beings are fond of is disappointment. So at a time, someone can promise you something, but at the end of the day is unable to fulfill that promise. Most times the promise that they even give you is not real. They do not mean it. They just want to promise to keep your hopes high, and at the end of the day disappoint you. So this is the reason why it is very dangerous for you as a child of God to put your trust either in yourself or in your fellow human being. All your trust must be put in God and God alone, because He is the creator of everything, and He understands how He is going to program and set everything the right way for you. Now, the second reason why God always allows pressure before He lifts you is to keep you humble, and He does this so that you will not be overcome with pride and fall like the angel Lucifer. Now let's quickly go to Isaiah chapter 14 and read from verse 12 to 15 to see what the scripture says concerning this. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. Now, as you can see in that passage, the angel Lucifer fell because he was exalted by God to a great height. Pride overcome him with this exaltation. He was overcome with pride that he started to think that he will ascend higher than God and establish his own throne above God, and in so doing be greater than God. And because of these thoughts, because of this plan of the devil, what happened? He was banished from heaven. So this is the reason why God takes time to ensure that He keeps you humble as His child, so that the same thing that happened to the angel Lucifer might not happen to you. Because God knows that if you build that big mansion and buy that expensive car you are thinking about, you will be so overcome with pride that you will not even go near God again. So because of this, He must make sure that He puts you through a whole lot of pressure, so that that pressure humbles you to the point that when the blessing finally comes, pride will not overtake you. We all know the popular English word which says, pride goes before a fall. If you are overcome with pride because of the abundant blessings God is giving you, you are definitely going to fall. Now let's read 1 Peter chapter 5 verse 6 to see what God expects of you before He can exalt you, before He can do those good things that He's planning for you. Humble yourselves therefore under the mighty hand of God, that He may exalt you in due time. So even when you are going through a whole lot of pressure, you are supposed to humble yourself before God, and even after the blessings come, you must ensure also that you remain humble, so that your blessings, your upliftment will endure. And now the last but not the least point is that God allows pressure before He lifts you, to remind you that life here on earth is temporary. Now let's quickly go to 2 Corinthians chapter 4 and read from verse 17 to 18 to see what the scripture says concerning this. For our light affliction, which is but for a moment, worketh for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory, while we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal. Now, going through a lot of pressure in life will help you to live with this mindset that everything on earth is temporary. And for that reason, you will not allow yourself to be carried away by any comfort, position, or whatever blessings you will see in your life later. Because during this time you are going through a lot of pressure, you will imbibe this mindset, go to sleep with it, wake up with it, and live with it. And when the riches come, when the blessings finally comes, when the upliftment of God comes, that mindset which was already established will continue. And for that reason, you will not give yourself over to the comfort or position that God has finally chosen to place you in. So these are the reason why God allows pressure in your life as His child. So when you are going through any kind of pressure, don't think that God has abandoned you. Don't think that God does not exist. Don't think that God does not love you or does not care about you. Just keep it in your mind that these three things are what God is trying to install in your life, so that when these things are finally in place, when He has finally installed them, it is going to uplift you in a way you never imagined. Finally, as usual, please do not keep this message to yourself. Help me to share it so that others can come to this knowledge of the truth, which is found in no other place than the Word of the living God. Remain blessed.